First, I want to thank everybody for coming. This is really, this means a lot to me. It means a lot to my mom and everybody else. We all, everyone here, had a special spot for Bill, love Bill, and I got this written because if I don't read it and I just speak it, I'm gonna cry a whole bunch. So, if you don't know, Bill's my stepdad, but he's pretty much my dad. He taught me how to ride a bike, how to throw a baseball, taught me how to oil a glove properly. He took me out fishing in the Pacific Ocean. Back in the day, he had a boat. I'll never forget because I ate all his Fig Newtons. He wasn't happy about that. He took me to Angel games. I can still name 80% of all the 80s Anaheim Angels. Chuck Finley, Kirk McCaskill, Devon White, Chili Davis, Wally Joyner, Lance Parrish, or Bob Boone, depending on who you felt was the better catcher of the day. For those of you who knew Bill, Bill absolutely loved music, and music was a big part of his life. He taught me how to listen to music, how to really enjoy it. I'd visit Bill and my mom's place in the summertime, back when I lived in Colorado, and we'd spend the weekends just kind of laying in the living room in air conditioning and just listening to CDs or records of all of his favorite music. We had a membership to Columbia Records. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. And every month we would get 2 CDs that we'd have to pick to keep your membership up and whatnot. And that was my favorite time. I'd wait for the CDs. This is back before Amazon, right? So you'd go check the mail every day and see if that package came. And then this little box would come and you'd unzip the cardboard and there would be a CD. And then we'd listen to it all the way through, So it's not in the days where today where you just pick and choose music. You listen to the whole album through, or we'd listen to it twice in a row. And if we weren't listening to music, we would spend the nights a lot of times listening to old radio plays. And I think that's where I know I have a lot of my imagination and love for fantasy from these old radio plays Ruby and Jack Flanders, things like that. And when I go back to Colorado, they'd make me these they'd make me these tapes, and those tapes meant so much to me because I had to go home, miss these guys, and those tapes were what I had. So I'd wear those cassette tapes out, and it would be a mix of the music we listened to and a lot of those radio plays. They would just take me to a better place. And for those of you who don't know, Bill worked in aerospace for pretty much most of his career, and he worked in quality control. And it's that attention to detail that made Bill so great at who he was and what he did. It also made him a cantankerous son of a bitch. So if you made a mistake, sorry wasn't good enough. We'd have to figure out why that mistake was made and what we could do to prevent it from happening and how it couldn't happen in the future. And it's those kind of things that kind of taught me how important it is to do the right thing, and especially when it's hard to do the right thing, and how not to run from problems, which is kind of what a lot of my real dad did. and like stick through it and figure it out and do the right thing. I moved back in with my mom and Bill, and we built a koi pond, and we loved it. And we like spend the weekends like cleaning the filters. All of our koi had names. Like if you asked me to like name koi, I mean we had Nessie, but like every single one of our fish had names. And that like really like brought us together. Bill loved computers, and he was like an early adopter of the internet, and so we'd use America Online, and we'd be on these like message boards and bulletin boards, and we'd answer like questions about koi ponds, because there'd be all these like water gardening questions and koi questions, and my mom, Bill, and I would be up there like answering questions about that.
Going through the books, looking up the answers.
Yeah, exactly.
Google.
And it was way before Google. And so we'd answer these questions, and that was sort of the inspiration, or like what gave my family confidence that we could like open up a business and do this full time. Because they're both in aerospace, and mid-90s that sort of tanked out, and they're tired of working for the man, and it's kind of awesome because they're able to like sort of in their late 30s, 40s, like start a whole new life and like make this place. And Mystic Koi obviously is like a whole other animal, and Mystic Koi has like created this incredible community of people. And if you look around today, there's like pond owners here, there's old staff here, there's members of like the koi community, and Bill meant a lot to the koi community. I think about like all the ponds in Southern California that like he has a part of. Like he picked like the pumps and the filters and all the fittings that need to go like into those specific places. And those ponds like brought so many people joy. And I think about like he built this place, like everything here. Him and his little brother Dougie. But he's so much more than Mystic Koi, He was kind of the sensible guy that was here. He kind of kept our heads together, and he was also like a father figure for a lot of his staff. And he kind of instilled the core values that make Mystic Koi like what Mystic Koi is today. Like that stuff still kind of carries over. And Bill loves space. I don't know if you knew that. He's really big into like astrophysics, and kind of obsessed about it. How big the universe is, and how like old the universe is, and how much like energy is out in the world. And he used to talk about how like tiny we are, and how nothing matters, right? Because like we're just here on like a speck of dust of time, and like how little like we are, and like compared to the universe, how small and insignificant we are. And Bill's one of the most like tortured souls I've ever met. He like came from a different era, in a time where like you can't really talk about your pain and your fears. And he was like haunted by a lot of things, and he didn't know how to like share that. But Bill's free now, and I like to believe he's out there like exploring the universe, and seeing dying stars and black holes eating up matter, and checking out giant dwarfs, and feeling planets and feeling like their gravity, and how big the universe is. You know, and he's in space with Dougie and Rick. And I just really hope he like sees how big he is and how much energy he poured into this place, and like what a difference he made to everyone that's here, and how important it is that he touched all the people around him. Also, they'll be really pissed if I didn't do this, but if you don't know, Bill was a good bowler and a good man. He was one of us. He was a man who loved the outdoors and bowling.
The Big Lebowski.
And as a surfer, he explored the beaches of Southern California, from La Jolla to Leo Carrillo and up to Pismo. He died, like so many young men of his generation. He died before his time.
Big Lebowski is favorite movie.
And in your wisdom, Lord, you took him. As you took so many bright, flowering men at Quezon, at Lingdoc, at Hill 364. These young men gave their lives, and so would Bill. Bill, who loved bowling. And so, William Kent Dabrowski, in accordance with what we think your dying wishes might well have been, we commit your final mortal remains to the bosom of the Pacific Ocean, which you so loved. Good night, sweet prince. Good night.
Oh, that's awesome.